I'm still, imagine that. I'm still giddy from last night. Anybody baseball fans? I'm a huge baseball fan.
Going down for the parade?
We're going to be there. What day is it? I hadn't even looked yet. I do got to say this, being from Houston and being a big Astros fan, back to when my grandfather would take me to games. Watching that game last night with my two boys just took me back to my childhood. And congratulations to the Houston Astros. What a great accomplishment to watch the organization come from where it is, where it was and where it is today. And it really made me think about sports and how it just galvanizes and unites a city. And through all they went through with Harvey, with all the flooding and the people losing their homes and how that city's come together is really cool. It's really cool. And it made me really, after the game was over, I'd put my kids to bed about 1 o'clock. And to be able to sit there and just think of, what it would mean to our city and our fans to bring a contender and a championship here. And that's something we're going to do. We're going to do that. All right, quickly, enough about baseball. On to Andrew. All right, so we're going to put Andrew on IR. And not at any point, the one thing I want y'all to understand is that there's never been once a time where I've tried to mislead. As an organization, we've tried to mislead. We've been this whole thing's been very fluid. And I don't ever want y'all to think that we're not being honest when we're up here. And 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever we talked the last time, we were shutting him down, giving him the cortisone shot to make sure and just to see if we could get his soreness to calm down. And it hadn't calmed down. So last week we finally got together again and we decided let's go see some more experts. Let's go see some doctors. So we went and saw his original doctor, Safran, and saw other multiple doctors. And the consensus from all the doctors is to continue rehab, to be patient and to continue rehab. The shoulder's subjective, and after a surgery, everybody's different. Everybody rehabs in a different way. So we're going to shut his throwing down, and we're going to continue rehab. We're going to continue hard rehab, and we think for the long-term interest of Andrew, this is the best course of action. I've heard all kinds of rumors about career ending. That's not the case here. I've not got that from one doctor. Career ending is putting him out on the field before he's ready to play. That's where you should be concerned. We're doing everything we can as an organization to give Andrew a chance, and Andrew's doing everything he can to have a chance to have a long-term career. And that's what he plans on doing, and that's what we plan on him doing. So now, time's yours. I'll open up for questions.
What specifically were you told by doctors that explain why this has not why the recovery has not gone the way everybody expected?
Well, first thing is I'm not a doctor. So explaining so the shoulder's tied in a bunch of different ways, from the scapula to the other muscles around, and getting them all to work together properly is a little bit of the issue. Still trying to get them all to work together could be causing the soreness issues. So continuing to rehab, continue to strengthen, continue flexibility. All that stuff will continue down that path and get them all working together and get him all going in the right direction.
Is there any chance he might need another procedure, a scope, or something of that sort?
Right now, it's strictly rehab.
And they feel like this will be an adequate solution. This should solve the problem. Do you feel optimistic?
Optimistic that this will solve the problem.
Chris, I assume it's way too early to project OTAs, anything of when he might start throwing again?
Yeah, no, it's too early. Like we've done the whole time, we've not put a time frame on it, and we won't put a time frame on it.
Chris, what was Andrew's reaction? I know he wanted to play, but he understood his shoulder and his right arm, but what was his reaction when you guys decided it was probably one of the best play this season?
Look, he was frustrated. I mean, he's a competitive guy, and not only is he a competitive guy, he cares about his teammates, and he cares about this organization. And he knows the impact he has on Sunday. I mean, he's a difference maker. He's one of the top quarterbacks in this league, so he's frustrated. He's absolutely frustrated. But saying that, I think he's got great resolve. And I think all of this, I mean, look, through the dark times, there's got to be a light. And I think a year of his body healing, getting the shoulder right, I think all this, I think we're going to see even a better Andrew down the line.
And you as a general manager, I mean, you said since April when we talked to you during the draft that there was never going to be a timetable, but I'm sure you were probably thinking that Andrew was going to be back at some point. How tough is that on you, especially when you look at how, I mean, your quarterback position, I know you got Jacoby here, but still, you probably envision having Andrew at some point.
Look, I've always believed nobody cares about your problems. Nobody cares. All they care about is the result on Sunday. That's why I've made a big emphasis here about it's about the team. And it's about us finding a way to win. No matter who's active and who's playing and who's not injured and who's here, finding a way to win on game day, finding a way to win on Sunday. It's never about one person.
Did you, well, let me back up. I think there's been a lot of confusion. Obviously, you know, your owner kind of hopefully said that Andrew would play at the start of the season, and there's been a lot of, you know, sort of misunderstanding, and maybe because of that. Was that ever something you guys felt was a possibility, and did things change at some point? Or, I don't know, I guess
He had a
kind of walk back a little bit.
No, we were all optimistic. And Mr. Irsay, I mean, look, we're fortunate. I have a great owner, very supportive, very optimistic. And we all were. We all were optimistic that this was going to work out sooner than later. But unfortunately, the human body, everybody's human bodies are different. And we are where we are. So there's not much we can do about it.
And in terms of where he's at, were any of the doctors, was this out of the norm based on any of the doctors' reports?
No,
You know?
not at all. As a matter of fact, a couple of them, exact words were, yeah, you just got to be patient. You got to be patient and keep working through this. So, no, we're not getting out of the norm.
Is that part of the problem with this process is this is viewed as a setback? I mean, the soreness and all that, but you guys were sort of in a tight frame as far as if he's going to play, he needs to get back sooner. And you really couldn't push it. You couldn't let it run its course, I guess.
No, we couldn't. Just at a point where, especially since we got to shut down the throwing right now, and then it gets to a point if you're shutting him down for a certain period of time. So now we've set back the throwing part of it. So it just got to a point where we said, you know, best case for long term, let's just put him on IR.
Will this impact how you go in the offseason, though, with what you need to do with addressing the roster? Or will you take the approach that he will be there August whenever you go to camp? I mean,
We'll take the approach that he's going to be there.
When you talk to the doctors, I mean, of course, the initial reaction probably from the fan base is this is going to be something that's going to hamper Andrew Luck for the rest of his career. What can you say that the doctor said that you don't have to worry about this long term, or did they even say that?
Well, I'm not getting career-ending injury from anybody. What we're getting from the doctors is have patience. Have patience with the rehab process.
Any regrets on handling the quarterback situation, free agency last year, throughout the offseason? Any regrets on waiting?
Good question. I've thought a lot about that. So just signing, so we always look. You know, we're always, even with the situation, we're always looking, and we're always gauging the market, and we're always evaluating players, and we're always evaluating quarterback position because we know it's important. Just signing a player doesn't mean it's the answer. And as we went through it, we didn't really see anybody we thought was the answer that fit us at the time. We saw a couple guys we liked that we tried to work some things out with. It just didn't work. But going and spending an inordinate amount of money just to feel good in that moment, just for the fans to feel good in that moment, for us to feel good in that moment so we can lay our heads down, that doesn't mean you're going to win on Sundays. And that doesn't guarantee success. So we just said we were going to have patience. It worked out in our minds because we liked Jacoby Brissett. It worked out that way. But I think sometimes you make panic moves and you just go sign somebody to sign somebody And that's not always the answer.
That in mind with, apparently you tried to sign Nate Sudfeld from Philly's practice squad. Did luck impact that all, or is that more Jacoby's been getting beat up pretty good?
It was a combination to make sure we had enough depth at the position, because Jacoby had been taking some shots in games, and we like Nate Sudfeld, you know.
We talked a lot about Andrew and his frustration and wanting to be out there. From your standpoint, have there been moments when you kind of had to rein yourself in, where you remind yourself it's a long-term thing and you have to resist any temptation to rush it?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite, to where let's make sure we're always doing the right thing for the player. And that's like all of our players. We're never going to rush a guy back on the field if he's not ready to play. I don't think that's good business. I don't think that's good for the player. I think that it takes trust away. And I think it's important that your players know that you support them, and when they're hurt, we are not going to rush them back out on the field before they're ready to perform at a high level and where they can be safe.
Chris, even before he returned to practice, Andrew was always very visible around the complex there in practice watching. Will he continue to be involved in that way from the sidelines moving forward?
He'll be in and out. He's going to do rehab at a couple different places, so he'll be in and out.
Is there a different approach to the rehab he'll be doing now, or is it much, I know neither one of us are doctors, right, but is it similar to what he's been doing, or is this a different approach in
I
some
think they're going to
fashion?
take a little different approach and do some different strength and recovery efforts to try to get the soreness out.
Not a quarterback question, but your left tackle in practice this week. Anything to worry about there?
I think you always worry about it when they haven't practiced. We'll see. We'll have a little bit more of an update here in the next couple of days. Okay? Thank y'all. Appreciate it, guys.